Okay, people, here we are. We have our dynamic actor, which can take us in a static mesh. You can recreate it as a dynamic mesh. It can add collision to it, but you can shoot through, and it can boolean a hole out of this thing. Now, the thing is, we're just booleaning the hole on begin play right now, which is not what we want. One of the key things with any system that we're designing is thinking through trigger, behavior, output. Okay, that's the mantra of a system. So it's trigger, behavior, output. So every time you come up with something cool, hey, we're going to make an impact crater, that's really cool. Hey, we're going to make a gun that does something. Hey, we're going to make a teleporter or whatever. What's the trigger? What's the behavior behind the scenes? And what's the behavior, in front of the cameras? What's the behavior that people are actually going to see? And so our trigger system and output here is the trigger. Well, we're going to pick a trigger. The system is the booleaning, and the output is the visual alteration of the mesh, and so on and so forth. For the purposes of this test, we are going to use hit as a trigger. We're gonna make a destructible mesh actor that creates an impact crater wherever it is hit. Now, as an actual system, you probably want something a bit more complex that's only going to trigger under certain circumstances. Again, like I said in the last video, we're just messing around trying to figure out geometry script and learn how to do stuff. So we're just going to pick something easy, and hit is the most easy thing to do. So we're going back to our actor here. It's nice and neat and tidy. And we're going to get the event hit trigger. Okay, so this is where we're going to do, you know what, we're going to take this out, just snap. Oh, I'm going to edit that out. Okay, so we've unhooked the generate sphere for tool mesh. I'm going to unhook the boolean as well. So what we want is OnHit. This is part of the reason why using these is really handy. OnHit, we want to generate a sphere for tool mesh, and we want to apply that mesh boolean. You see why I used a sequence there, because it's when you're dragging this stuff around, it's a little harder for you guys to track. Okay, so this is all nicely contained. Now, this should mean I grab this, I shoot this. Yeah. So you're getting, that's a boolean on hit. We just changed the trigger value. The key thing, and just so that I can really sell this, I'm going to drop the radius of this a little bit, and of course the radius is magnitude and radius are quite well related, so I'll drop that down as well. And it's just so you can really see, yeah, you can really see that that is not booleaning where it's been hit. And if you remember, I tried to pull this hole towards the player in previous videos, and I did it in a really hacky kind of way. And you'll notice it's now actually at the back of the mesh. That is down to relative locations. So this mesh is now rotated, so pulling it on X is pulling it in a different direction. The only reason I used X was because the player happened to be standing backwards on the X-axis from there, and it was just a quick hack for the purpose of the test that we were doing at the time. So we have a relative location here, and we have a world location here. Sing it with me, kids. I hate 3D maths. I hate 3D maths. I'm really bad with 3D maths and 3D world space, but there's always workarounds. I'm going to show you a little hacky trick here. You know, if you were a programmer, you should probably be, you know, like translating between world space and local space should be old hat to you. But what's fun with Unreal is they give us 101 ways to do things, and this is the way I like to fix this. So when we generate our dynamic mesh that we are using, we can set a world location for that dynamic mesh. This hit location is a world location for the hit. I'm just going to pull this down here. You can see me being slightly sloppy right now, and then I'll tidy up in a second. Let's move this here. Double click. Okay, so that will position. That means that when we create this mesh, or sorry, when we create this mesh component, we position it at the hit location. However, it takes a, oh, we're appending a sphere. Right, let's append the sphere exactly where the location occurs. Just recombine that struct pin. Then, when we apply the mesh boolean, you'll notice that we then have transforms that we can apply for this. So these again are relative transforms. So we're setting the world location here, which will set this, should set this mesh to where we want it to be, or the component, I should say, to where we want it to be. Let's get our tool mesh component, and let's get the relative transform for that. Oh, it's spelled today. Relative transform. There we go. Okay. Now, it might sound like I'm being dramatic, talking all the time about not being very good at 3D maths. I'm just trying to point out that you don't have to be brilliant at everything to be a good person in a field. Some of the best people in any given field are not actually the best at the field. They're just cool people. And I put certainly for system design, I put myself in that category. So apply mesh boolean. Let's see what we've got now. And now we have, and we can shoot through the space we've created. And we can chip away at this thing. So we have destruction, people. We have meshes that we can destroy, and that's pretty cool. That by itself is pretty cool. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen where this is going next. Destruction isn't destruction unless there's stuff like flying out of this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to save the parts that we cut, and we're going to create a piece of debris that flies away. That is worthy of a system discussion because not wholly necessary, but maybe not the best of ideas. I said at the start of, was it this video, the last one, I can't remember. I said at the start of these videos, I said at the start of one of these videos that system design is about having, you know, a clear target, a clear thing that you're trying to achieve, and you should know the parameters of that thing. And one of those parameters would be system power. And the more we do with dynamic meshes, the more problems we create for system power. But as I've also said, we're not really trying to make a system for a game. We're just trying to learn more about dynamic mesh stuff with geometry script. So we're going to do this. I will have a bit talking about it at the start of the next video as well. But for now, this is pretty cool. So if you followed along, if you've managed to get this up and running, if you do anything cool with this, drop me a comment, let me know. There's the whole like and subscribe thing that, you know, apparently helps out these videos quite a bit, which I would really appreciate. Otherwise, I will see you in the next section.